The next film I watched today, and I've actually got like three more films I'm trying to see this weekend because it's one of those weekends, just embarrassment of riches here, was Desiree Akhavan's The Miseducation of Cameron Post. She won the special jury prize or the grand jury prize at the Sundance Film Festival for this film earlier this year, and her previous film, Appropriate Behavior, was my favorite film from 2015. It was actually, 2015 was the year I watched only films directed by women, and Appropriate Behavior was actually the second film directed by a woman new release that I watched that year, and it ended up being my favorite new release for the entire year, and still one of my all-time favorite movies. I can watch it a million times. So when she finally had a new film coming out, I was very excited. And it's based on a novel by Emily M. Danforth, and it's set in 1993, and it's about a girl named Cameron, played by Chloë Grace Moretz, who is a lesbian, and she is also an evangelical Christian, or at least comes from a family of evangelical Christians. And when she's caught in flagrante with another girl, is eventually shipped off to this conversion therapy camp run by a very terrifying doctor played by a PhD type doctor, therapist, played by Jennifer Ehle. And Jennifer Ehle is so good, but oh man, she was creepy in this movie. So as the film progresses, you see sort of how Cameron got to where she is, but also you get to know several of the camp, or it's not even a camp really, it's like a private school. You get to know her fellow teens, and it does not go to a sort of but I'm a cheerleader type way. Even though it's a funny film, it really explores both the like terrors of conversion therapy, but also the way in which a lot of these children, they should be able to have their faith and not feel bad about who they are, and to pervert faith to make people feel bad about themselves is really what this film is about and exploring. One of the kids at one point in this really devastating part of the film reads a passage from the Bible that should make you think, oh wow, this is all fucked up, but that's not what happens in the scene, and it's devastating. But it's not a film that condemns Christianity at all. It's a film that condemns the perversion of Christianity, and that is a fine line, and it walks it really well. It also is about, it's just coming of age and about coming to terms with who you are, what you like, your attractions, your turn-ons, etc., etc., and how anybody should be sure of whether if any of it doesn't make any sense at this point. Like, you're exploring, and hampering exploration at 16 is preposterous. But they also sort of show you prior to the conversion therapy the Bible group that this character was in, and their entire point is hampering growth and exploration. So no matter what, you're kind of screwed if you're a teen in that particular sect, Christianity, if you will. It had a great couple of moments that meant a lot to me. One, there's a scene where her and the girl that she likes are watching a movie together because the girl's kind of trying to seduce her, sort of, and it's Desert Hearts. That made me really happy. And it's like they're watching like a really shitty VHS copy of Desert Hearts because it's 1983, and I was like, this is the best. And if you have not seen Desert Hearts, like, why are you watching this movie, dude? And two, it's on Filmstruck and on DVD, Blu-ray from Criterion Collection, and just like do yourself a favor and watch Desert Hearts. There's a joke about the breeders, very good, and there's a sing-along moment with Four Non-Blondes, What's Up, which is like also fabulous. There was also great supporting characters played by Sasha Lane, who's one of my favorite actresses. She's in so many great films and mostly works with women directors and almost solely plays queer characters. And she's either in a film by a woman, or she's playing a queer character, or she's a queer character in a film by a woman, and that just makes me really happy. There's also a great performance by, I lost his name. Where'd it go? Forrest Goodluck, playing a native person whose family is sort of moving away from their native religion and trying to be respectable, and that's why they've sent him here. And he explains what it is to be a two-spirit, and that's not something you see often in films, like the discussion of two-spirit and the discussion of how in so many cultures there are words and meaning for people who are queer and for people who are trans and for people who are non-binary, and the fact that most native tribes have words for this, and they have this concept, and it was like the freaking Christianity and Western culture that really came in and like quashed this idea in the world, and that's awful, really, because it's not against anything. It is how people are, and certain cultures sort of are better about understanding that people are like they are than others, and unfortunately, the others have sort of tried to take over, and that has caused all these strifes. I thought there were things that I expected to happen in this movie that did not happen, and there were things that I was not expecting to happen that did happen. And I love it when a movie will make you think it's going to do one thing, and then it's like, nope, we're actually going this way. I thought that was just fantastic. It's definitely one of the best performances I've seen from Moretz. I am a big fan of hers. I almost always like her in movies. I think she's particularly good in the Kimberly Pierce version of Carrie. And I appreciate that she has made several films with female directors. I think she's somebody who seeks out interesting characters most of the time, and I like that about her as an actor. Obviously, I already talked about Sasha Lane. I feel like everybody who came of age in the 90s who likes women has a crush on Jennifer Ehle because of Pride and Prejudice. It's one of those ones, especially if you were bisexual or pan or whatever. Pride and Prejudice is one of those movies where it's like, do I love Elizabeth Bennet? Do I love Mr. Darcy? Do I love them both? Do I want them to get together because I want them both? I don't know. But Jennifer Ehle really was one of those women where I was like, So when she showed up, I was like, oh. What else to say about this movie? It's just it's nice to see more and more queer films, that even ones like this that are really about overcoming, adversity, also show that there is a breadth of the way in which queer people are and feel, and that there is no one way, and that from the minute you are to the minute you realize who you are, you're still always wondering, is this really who I am? And then you have action, and you're like, oh yeah. But we are in a society that is continually making everyone doubt everything about themselves, because capitalism thrives on telling you that you need this in order to be happy, and you need that in order to be happy, and you might think one thing, but it's something else, and so it's hard to come of age, let alone be an adult in a society that continually tells you that you need to change things about yourself. And this film is really doing a great job of exploring how that is, and how certain people are more susceptible to that, and certain people are more likely to attempt to take advantage of that. So this was a great film. I really, really liked it. It's going to be one of my top films of the year, most likely. I really love Desiree Akhavan. I think she is such an important filmmaker. And again, if you have not seen Appropriate Behavior, seek that one out. Bring some tissues. It's a happy, sad movie. And definitely go see this film. It's expanded. I think it's in maybe 40 cities now, something like that. So hopefully it's playing in a city near you. I know it's in New York, LA, Miami, Chicago, a whole bunch of places all over California. Go check it out. I'm looking forward to reading this book as well. I'm going to read a whole bunch of books. I already have too many books. I don't know. So this was Desiree Akhavan's The Miseducation of Cameron Post, and I really, really enjoyed it.